Why winners never give up. John Cena motivation. Whoa, listen up. This is John Cena. And I'm here to tell you straight up, winners never give up. Life will throw punches. It will test your limits. It will make you question yourself. But that's when the real champions rise. If you want to be at the top, you got to fight, grind, and hustle every single day. You got to dig deep, push past the pain, and never quit. Today, I'm going to show you why winners don't back down and how you can unlock that unstoppable power inside you. So get ready, because it's time to bring your A game. When it comes to being a winner, the first lesson you need to understand is that failure is not your enemy. It is your teacher. I've been in the ring more times than I can count. And every single loss I ever had taught me something invaluable. You see, champions are not people who never fail. Champions are people who embrace failure. They study it, they dissect it, and then they use it to propel themselves forward. Every time you stumble, every time you hit the mat, it is an opportunity to rise stronger, faster, and smarter than before. Failure is not the end. It is the raw material for growth. And anyone who wants to succeed has to learn to love the grind, to love the lessons hidden in the tough moments. Think about the first time you tried something hard, whether it was a sport, a skill, or even a school project. Did you get it right the first time? Probably not. But if you quit the first time you fell, you would never have learned how to get better. That's exactly how life works for winners. You take every setback as a sign to adapt, adjust, and attack again. It's about turning adversity into your ally and learning to see the bigger picture, the long game. Every successful person you look up to has a history full of failures. They've been knocked down, laughed at, doubted, and tested. But they chose not to let those moments define them. They chose to let those moments refine them. The most important thing you can do when you fail is not to fear it, not to avoid it, and definitely not to hide from it. You have to face it head on. Ask yourself what went wrong. How can I improve? What will I do differently next time? Winners don't make excuses. They make plans. And plans come from careful observation of what doesn't work. Let me tell you, every time I failed in my career, I didn't just walk away disappointed. I analyzed it, I trained harder, I focused on my weaknesses, and I transformed them into strengths. That's how you become unstoppable. And here's another truth. Failure also teaches humility. When you fall, you realize that success is not guaranteed, that every victory has to be earned, and that no one can do it alone. You start to value the effort, the discipline, and the sacrifices required to be at the top. You stop taking things for granted and start appreciating the process itself. Champions know that failure is temporary if you are willing to keep pushing. Every mistake is a chance to get closer to your goal, and the more you learn to embrace it, the less it will scare you. Fear of failure is what holds most people back, but winners flip that fear on its head. They use it as fuel. Imagine stepping into the ring, knowing you might get knocked down. A normal person would panic, hesitate, maybe quit before the fight even begins. But a true winner, they step in with confidence, with eyes on the prize, because they know even if they fall, they will get up stronger and more determined. That mindset, the understanding that failure is a stepping stone, is what separates the good from the great. And it doesn't just apply to the ring or the field, it applies to every part of life. In school and work, in relationships, in personal growth, failure is inevitable. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is how they respond. Do they crumble or do they rise? Do they complain or do they conquer? The truth is, you will fall more times than you can count, but each fall is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become better. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You have to get comfortable failing because every failure is a building block toward victory. Winners don't fear failure. They embrace it, they study it, and they let it sharpen their edge. Every champion, every legend, every person you admire has one thing in common. They failed, they fell, and then they got back up with more fire than before. Discipline beats motivation every single time because motivation is a spark, but discipline is the engine that keeps you moving even when that spark burns out. People think winners are motivated every day, but that's the biggest myth you can ever believe. I've stepped into the gym on days when my body hurt, my mind was exhausted, and my heart wasn't in it at all, but I still showed up because discipline doesn't care about how you feel. It cares about what you committed to. Motivation is emotional, but discipline is a decision. A decision you make once and honor daily through your actions, even when everything inside you is telling you to take the easy way out. And that's exactly why discipline turns ordinary people into beasts, into champions, into forces that can't be stopped by excuses or setbacks or laziness. Think about all the times in your life when you felt pumped up, excited, ready to conquer the world. Maybe it was after watching a motivational video, or listening to your favorite speaker, or hearing your idol tell their story. For a moment, you felt invincible. But what happened the next day when the excitement faded? Did you still show up? Did you still do the work when nobody was cheering for you? Did you still push through the resistance when you didn't feel that fire anymore? That's the difference between someone who dreams and someone who achieves. Winner, level discipline isn't built on hype. It's built on consistency, on showing up when you least want to, on doing the small things again and again until they become part of who you are. It's easy to be motivated when things are going well. When you're winning, when people praise you, when everything goes according to plan, motivation feels natural. But life doesn't always support your hype. There will be days when nothing feels right, when you're stressed, tired, overwhelmed, or discouraged. On those days, motivation won't be there to save you, but discipline will. Discipline is the voice in your mind that says, get up. Discipline is the force that pulls you through the moments when your emotions want to pull you down. It's what keeps you moving forward when your mood tries to stop you. That's why winners invest more into discipline than motivation. Because they know the grind is long, the road is tough, and the journey requires more than temporary excitement. Discipline means sticking to your goals even when the world around you tempts you to break them. It means waking up on time, training when you're exhausted, studying when you're bored, practicing when you don't feel like it, and pushing yourself even when no one is watching. Discipline is not glamorous. It's not flashy. It's not something people can see in an Instagram post. It happens in silence, in early mornings, late nights, quiet hours, uncomfortable moments, and behind closed doors. Champions are made in those invisible hours, not on the stage, not under the spotlight, not in the moment people are clapping. What the world sees is the result. What they don't see is the discipline behind it. And discipline isn't just about physical effort. It's mental. It's emotional. It's about self-control. It's about choosing long-term success over short-term comfort. Every time you decide to skip the work, every time you give in to excuses, every time you allow your feelings to dictate your actions, you weaken your ability to win. But every time you push back, every time you follow through on your commitments, every time you act with discipline, you strengthen your mental muscles. You become tougher, sharper, stronger, more focused, and more resilient. Discipline builds your character. It builds your confidence. It builds your identity as a winner. Motivation fades, but discipline compounds. Every day you work with discipline, you gain momentum. Every small effort adds up. Every repetition improves you. Every consistent habit moves you closer to your goal. That's how transformation happens. Not through one burst of inspiration, but through thousands of disciplined actions that no one sees. Every champion you admire, every athlete, artist, leader, entrepreneur, or icon who achieved greatness did so through discipline. They didn't wait until they felt good. They didn't wait until conditions were perfect. They didn't wait for motivation to show up and rescue them. They acted, they trained, they worked. They sacrificed. They pushed when others stopped. They kept going long after motivation left the room. People often say they want success, but what they're really saying is they want the feeling of success. Discipline doesn't care about your feelings. Discipline demands effort. Discipline demands consistency. Discipline demands sacrifice. And that's where most people fall short. They want the reward without the routine. They want the gain without the grind. But winners know that success is the result of disciplined habits repeated over time. The more disciplined you are, the fewer excuses you make. The fewer excuses you make, the more progress you see. And the more progress you see, the more unstoppable you become. Discipline also gives you freedom. It frees you from regret, from inconsistency, from the guilt of knowing you could have done more but didn't. It frees you from the mental chaos of broken promises you made to yourself. When you live with discipline, you live with clarity. You know what you need to do, and you do it. There's no confusion, no hesitation, no wasted time. Discipline creates stability, order, direction, and purpose in your life. It makes you reliable, trustworthy, confident, and strong. It builds habits that support your future instead of habits that destroy it. The truth is, winners are not born, they are built. And the tool that builds them is discipline. You might not be the fastest, the strongest, the smartest, or the most talented, but if you choose discipline, you give yourself an advantage that most people will never have. Talent can fade, motivation can collapse. Circumstances can change, but disciplined effort will always put you in the position to win. It gives you control when everything else feels uncertain. It gives you power when life tries to make you feel powerless. It gives you progress when others stay stuck. That's why discipline beats motivation every single time. Surrounding yourself with winners, not excuses, is one of the most powerful decisions you will ever make in your journey toward greatness, because the people around you don't just influence your energy, they shape your mindset, your habits, and your destiny. I've spent my whole career in locker rooms, gyms, arenas, and training camps where energy flows like electricity. When you're surrounded by people who want to win, you feel it in the air. Their drive becomes your drive. Their discipline becomes your discipline. Their hunger becomes your hunger. And that's exactly why winners don't hang around those who complain, who settle, who quit, or who drag others down. Winners choose an environment that pushes them higher, challenges them, and forces them to level up every single day. Think about this. Every time you spend time with someone, you're borrowing their mindset. If you spend your days with people who always blame, always whine, always find reasons not to do the work, that becomes your default thinking too. Their excuses slowly become your excuses. Their fears become your fears. Their doubts infect your confidence. And before you know it, you're playing small, living average, thinking limited, and walking away from opportunities without even trying. That's how negativity spreads. It's silent, subtle, and incredibly destructive. It drains your ambition without you even noticing. That's why winners are extremely intentional about who they keep close. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine surrounding yourself with people who don't back down. People who train hard, think big, believe in themselves, and take action even on their hardest days. People who don't make excuses but make progress. When you're in that environment, your energy rises automatically. You feel challenged to match their mindset. You feel encouraged to push your limits. You feel inspired to grow because everyone around you is leveling up. Winners don't just rely on self-motivation. They build circles that reinforce their mission. They choose people who push them instead of people who poison them. You've probably heard the phrase, you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It's a simple idea, but it's incredibly true. If your 5 closest people are lazy, unambitious, negative, and directionless, you will naturally sink to their level. But if your 5 closest people are focused, disciplined, hardworking, and driven, you will naturally rise to theirs. Human beings adapt to their environment. We absorb behaviors, attitudes, and beliefs without even realizing it. That's why the people you surround yourself with can either be your biggest advantage or your biggest limitation. And here's another truth: winners aren't afraid to outgrow people. That's one of the hardest lessons you'll ever learn. Sometimes the people you grew up with, the people you love, the people you spent years around, are simply not aligned with the future you want. They might be comfortable staying the same while you're trying to evolve. They might hold on to old habits while you're building new ones. They might mock your ambition because they're intimidated by their own lack of effort. And if you want to succeed, you have to be willing to distance yourself from anything that pulls you backward. It doesn't mean you stop caring about people. It means you stop letting them control your direction. When you surround yourself with winners, something powerful happens. You start believing that winning is normal. Success becomes something you expect, not something you only dream about. You see people who hustle like you do, people who sacrifice like you do, people who push through pain like you do, and you realize you're not alone. You're part of a mindset, a culture, a tribe of people who refuse to live on autopilot. That support system fuels your confidence and keeps you accountable. You're less likely to quit when everyone around you is pushing forward. You're less likely to settle when everyone around you is striving for excellence. Winners thrive in an atmosphere where greatness is the standard. Another incredible benefit of surrounding yourself with winners is that they tell you the truth. Losers sugarcoat. Losers avoid hard conversations. Losers tell you what you want to hear so they don't have to challenge themselves. But winners will look you in the eyes and tell you when you're slacking. They'll call you out when you aren't giving your best. They'll push you when they notice you holding back. They're not trying to hurt you. They're trying to help you. A true winner in your circle will challenge you to grow, and challenge is exactly what you need to evolve. And it's not just about surrounding yourself with people who are already at the top. It's about choosing people who have the mindset of a winner, even if they're still working toward their goals. You don't need to only be around millionaires or champions or professionals. You just need people who are hungry, driven, disciplined, and committed to becoming better versions of themselves. People who show up, people who fight for their goals, people who stay consistent, people who refuse to quit. Those are the people who create powerful environments that elevate everyone involved. Your circle should be a source of inspiration, not frustration. It should make you feel energized, not drained. It should push you to take action, not to procrastinate. It should fill your mind with possibilities, not fears. If you constantly feel like you have to dim your light to make others comfortable, you're in the wrong place. Winners look for bright lights. They look for people who ignite their fire, not extinguish it. They surround themselves with individuals who talk about goals, growth, ideas, opportunities, and solutions, not gossip, negativity, complaints, and excuses. When you surround yourself with winners, you learn quicker, you grow faster, you see results sooner, you absorb winning behaviors, winning habits, and winning strategies just by being around the right energy. You become more disciplined because you don't want to fall behind. You become more focused because you see how focused others are. You become more hopeful because you see what's possible. And that's when your life begins to shift. The right circle will not just change your mindset, it will change your entire future. Your environment is either shaping you into a champion or limiting you to mediocrity. Winners understand this deeply, which is why they protect their circle like their life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. Mental toughness determines your ultimate success, because it's the one thing that stays with you when everything else is stripped away. Your comfort, your confidence, your motivation, even your strength. When the world pushes you to the edge, when life throws challenges at you back to back, when your plans fall apart, when people doubt you, and when your progress feels invisible, the one thing that keeps you standing is the strength inside your mind. You can be physically strong, talented, or skilled, but if your mind isn't tough, one setback can break you. Winners understand that real battles are fought inside the mind, long before they're won in real life. That's why mental toughness is the foundation of every champion you've ever admired. Mental toughness is not about being emotionless or pretending that pain doesn't hurt. It's about feeling the pain and continuing anyway. It's about hearing the doubts, but believing in yourself anyway. It's about getting hit hard by life and choosing to rise again anyway. Every time you push through a moment when your mind tells you, stop, you strengthen your mental muscle. Every time you choose grit over comfort, you sharpen your resilience. Every time you silence the excuses and move forward, you prove that you are in control of your destiny. You can train your body all day, but it's the mind that gets you through the moments when your body wants to quit. Think about every time you've pushed through a tough workout, a stressful situation, a disappointing result, or a failure. Your body didn't carry you through that. Your mind did. Your determination did. Your refusal to quit did. Mental toughness is the thing that whispers, one more rep, one more step, one more attempt, one more day. That's how winners rise above everyone else. They decide to keep going long after the average person gives up. Life will test your mental strength again and again. You'll face criticism, doubt, rejection, fear, and failure. You'll face days when everything seems to go wrong, when your goals look impossible, when your efforts feel useless. In those moments, you'll either break down or break through. And the difference between the two isn't talent. It's mental toughness. Winners build a mind that refuses to break. They refuse to let temporary pain destroy their long-term vision. They don't let negativity control them, and they don't fold under pressure. Instead, pressure makes them sharper, calmer, and more focused. Mental toughness also means controlling the voice inside your head. We all have that inner voice that speaks doubts, fears, and insecurities. Mental toughness is learning to talk back to that voice instead of listening to thoughts like, you're not good enough. You should quit. This is too hard. You'll never win. Winners learn to replace those thoughts with stronger ones. They say, I can handle this. I've overcome worse. I'm built for this. I'm not stopping now. Your inner language shapes your actions. The stronger your internal dialogue, the stronger your performance becomes. Another part of mental toughness is emotional control. Winners don't let anger, frustration, failure, or disappointment make their decisions for them. They feel the emotions, but don't let those emotions dictate their actions. They don't panic when plans fall apart. They don't fold when things get messy. They stay calm under pressure because they understand that chaos doesn't require chaos. It requires clarity. The ability to stay focused under stress is one of the strongest signs of mental toughness. And it's what keeps winners steady while everyone else falls apart. Mental toughness isn't built in comfort, it's built in adversity. Every challenge you face is training. Every obstacle is an opportunity. Every setback is strength training for the mind. You build resilience by going through difficult situations, not by avoiding them. Winners don't hide from discomfort. They step into it. They don't shy away from hard tasks. They take them head on. They know the tougher the situation, the tougher they become. That's why so many champions talk about struggle with pride. They understand that their success didn't grow from easy moments. It grew from moments that tested everything inside them. Another part of mental toughness is patience. Success takes time. Growth takes time. Improvement takes time. Most people quit because they don't see results fast enough. But winners stay committed even when progress is slow, even when the journey feels long, even when they feel stuck. Mental toughness means trusting the process even when nothing seems to be working. It means staying consistent even when results are invisible. It means believing in your path even when others think you're wasting your time. That patience separates those who want success from those who are destined to have it. You also become mentally tough when you stop depending on motivation. Motivation is temporary, but mental toughness is permanent. It's built from discipline, repetition, and pushing yourself daily. It's built from choosing effort over excuses, consistency over comfort, and persistence over quitting. Winners don't wait for a perfect mood to take action. They act because they've trained their mind to do what needs to be done regardless of how they feel. That's why they outwork everyone around them. And let's talk about failure again, because mental toughness is deeply connected to how you handle failure. Failure tests your confidence. It tests your resolve. It tests your patience. Most people crumble when they fail. They give up, blame others, or walk away. But mentally tough individuals use failure as fuel. They analyze it, learn from it, adjust their approach, and come back stronger. They don't see failure as evidence that they can't succeed. They see it as proof that they're trying, improving, and evolving. Mental toughness means refusing to let failure define you. It also means being unstoppable in the face of criticism. When you chase big dreams, people will judge you, mock you, underestimate you, and doubt you. Mentally weak people get discouraged, but mentally tough people don't care. They're focused on their mission. They're focused on their growth. They're focused on their purpose. They don't let outside noise interfere with their internal drive. Mental toughness is what keeps you going when you're tired, when you're overwhelmed, when things don't make sense, when your heart is heavy, and when quitting feels easier than continuing. It's the armor you wear when life gets brutal. It's the shield that protects your vision from negativity. It's the engine that drives you forward when everything else shuts down. At the end of the day, everything you want, everything you dream about, everything you fight for comes down to one simple truth: winners never give up. Not because they never get tired, not because they never feel fear, not because they never face obstacles. They win because they keep showing up long after the world expects them to quit. They rise every time life knocks them down. They stay committed even when the path gets dark, even when the noise gets loud, even when the pressure hits harder than expected. That's what separates a champion from everyone else. The refusal to back down when things get tough. You have that same power inside you. You have that strength, that fire, that resilience waiting to come out. The world might doubt you. Circumstances might challenge you. And your own mind might try to hold you back. But if you choose to keep fighting, nothing can stop you. Winners are not chosen. They're created through discipline, persistence, and relentless belief in themselves. Every step you take, every challenge you face, every sacrifice you make is building the version of you that's ready to win. You're not here to be average. You're not here to play small. You're here to push past your limits, to rewrite your story, to rise above your excuses, and to prove to yourself what you're truly capable of. So stand tall, tighten your fists, take a deep breath, and step forward like a champion. Your journey isn't over. Your fight isn't done. And as long as you keep going, as long as you refuse to quit, as long as you believe in your strength, you will win, because winners never give up.